Hi everyone, iDonaldLouch here, and today I'm going to bring you a whole new Sims 3 Let's Play story type of thing. So essentially, what this story is going to be about is these two Sims named Tanner, and I can't quite remember the other guy's name, but they start out as roommates, and they become friends, and you'll see what happens from there. And so they start off poor, but then they win the lottery. So they start off in this little shack, which you saw at the beginning. And then I've made a fancy house, which they're going to buy. And for some reason, when I originally recorded this, the voiceover didn't record. So I am re-recording the voiceover. So that's why it might not be quite in sync. And I also had some problems with getting the other sim to do anything, just because I think I got him stuck in the bookstore. So in this episode, I'm just essentially buying the new house and moving the one guy over, and then trying my best to get the other guy out of the bookstore. And you'll kind of see how I managed to do that. And yeah.
Oh, Discola, huh?
So as you can see, I've now purchased the house. And now I am going to make the new house the primary house, or whatever you want to call it. And it took me a while to figure out what was the proper option, so that's why there was a bit of that delay. And yeah. So now the new house is the primary house, and the old house, we will remodel that and maybe put it up for rent or what have you. And I am going to edit the other house and make it more usable, I guess. I don't really know. And so I was trying to also get Tanner to move into the new house, but couldn't figure out why it wouldn't let me. So that also took some time. So that's one of the main reasons why this episode's just going to be mainly me trying to figure out how to move into this new house. And then in the next episode is where we'll start to actually play The Sims and kind of do a bit more of an introduction with each character and what have you. And so I thought, okay, so we can't get Tanner, to move in. So I thought, oh, okay, so let's buy some cars and a boat, and maybe that will fix the problem. So that's what I'm doing here. So I just went with the white and bluey, blacky, expensive car. Can't remember the name. And a blue and black speedboat. And I accidentally clicked the blue instead of the black. So I went ahead and deleted that. And then I went back into the living mode. And I clicked go home. But of course that didn't work. So I moved on to the next plan. And I was like, oh, is he maybe stuck there? So I made him walk over. Still wouldn't go home. And so it took me quite a while to figure out what's going on. So I thought, oh, can he maybe not go in the ocean for some reason? So I told him to go swimming there. And that was working. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then I think it was around this time when it froze again. And that's one of the main reasons why I haven't been doing very many gameplay videos, is because The Sims keeps on freezing on me. So that's rather annoying. And then I figured, oh, I still had the whole entire place fenced off. So I deleted some of the fencing. And then I thought, okay, I think this is going to work. But do I also want to take off that piece of fencing? Kind of make it look like the cars can drive off the little island, but I was like, yeah, I'll just leave that. And so this time, it actually worked, and Tanner's on his way home. And so I decided to make the blue boat the primary boat for Tanner. So Tanner is now on his way home. And I keep on trying to get, I think I named him Billy, to go home, but it's still not working. So I then decided to retry and go in the bookstore and buy a book, but that wasn't working either. So then I was like, oh, maybe I have to allow the Sims to move on their own. So I switched the Sim automatic level type of thing to low, so they have a little bit of free will, but that didn't work. And so I thought, oh, maybe become a partner at the bookstore. And I was like, nope, that's not going to work either. So I fed Tanner and put him to bed just for a bit so he can do that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to switch the active household to a different one and see if maybe that sorts it out. So I decided to go with one of the houses, one of the boat houses. So, yeah. So, and here's the boathouse that I chose. I thought I'd give that a few minutes and then try and switch the active household back to the other one. And hoped for the best. Then I was crossing my fingers here, hoping that it worked, but I noticed it failed, and I was like, grrr. And so I thought, oh, maybe get Tanner to go to the bookstore and see if he gets stuck as well. So I got him to go into the bookstore. And it worked. So I thought I'll just buy a couple recipes. Just because, you know, I can. And I was like, okay, that's gonna work. And then I had an idea, and I was like, oh, okay, so let's move the bookstore to a different location. So, and that's what I did. So I decided to go with one of the houses that's right nearby the whole town center thing. And it was a nice house, so I decided to set up a copy of it to my library. And then I evicted the person, but it took me a few minutes to find the evict button. And then yeah. Then I decided to go in to the build by, or whatever that is called. Oh, right. First I changed the lot type to a community. Couldn't figure out which one to choose, so I just went with Nerd Shop just for now. Then I later found out that it was a non-visitor allowed, so I just decided just to put it to visitors allowed. But I'll get into that in a bit. And then I went in after I changed the lot type, and I removed the house, and I placed in the bookshop. And I speeded this part up just because I thought, and you guys probably don't want to watch me tear down the house. So here's where I began the speeding. And then I was like, I was trying to get rid of that little moat type of thing, but I couldn't figure out how you did it, so I thought I'll just leave it because, oh well. And there is the bookstore. And then I went back to Edit Town and I deleted, well, I actually changed the bookstore from a community lot to a residence. But I kind of had to second guess myself here, because I was like, I don't know if that's the right one or not, so I decided, no, that's not it. Even though it was the right one, but then I was like, oh yeah, I guess that was the right one. So I was like, go build and buy, and then delete it. Then I was like, oh, I'll change the lot type to a community to a residence. And then that also took the buildings away. And then I thought, I'll go into build and buy and put a fence. But first I'll change this community from a nerd shop to a visitors allowed. So then I went in to build and buy, and I thought, okay, great. So the other guy, Billy, is now out of the bookstore, and he's chilling there. And then I was like, okay, I'll put a fence there, and then I'll move back the bookstore and stuff at a later time. And yeah, then I was like, okay, great, let's return to the game, and let's move in Billy along with Tanner. And so we returned to the game, and then I clicked go home for the both of them. And then of course it froze a little bit again, which happens quite often lately, so yeah. Then I was like, okay, I should give Billy some food before I get him to go to bed, just because he might not make it if he doesn't eat. And that's what I ended up by doing. So I thought I'd just give him a quick meal of, couldn't quite decide what I wanted to give him, and I thought a peanut butter and jam sandwich would be quick for him to have. And then I was like, oh, maybe is there something in the vending machines that you could have quickly? But then I was like, no, I'll go with a green salad. And then I made Tanner go to bed. And then I continued the gameplay. And then I was like, oh, so our first bill is in. So, Tanner, you're not going to bed. You're going to pay the bill first. And then you can go to bed. And that is the end of the gameplay for this part. And part 2 should be up soon if you're watching this right away. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.